Alright, well, welcome to my new channel. Some of you have seen me before on Alyssa Rose. What you can expect from me is going to be a little different than her. It's going to be a lot of DIY stuff, maybe some mechanic stuff. So my first thing is going to be a raised garden. So let's get going. Some of you have seen these before, probably on the web. They're not built very well and they're very expensive. We're going to build it strong, heavy, and to last a lifetime. So here's everything you need. It's pretty simple. Pencils, tape measure, safety glasses, gloves if you need them for splinters. I really don't use them, but safety first. Screw guns. I usually use at least two. One I put a drill bit in, and one I put the screw bit. And 2 1/4 inch screws. You can use outdoor screws, indoor screws. I use regular screws. I don't waste the extra money on the outdoor screws. You can always clear coat over them when you're done. And then you got deck boards, 12 foots, 8 foots, and some 2x4s, all pressure treated. All right, so it's gonna be 4 feet long, 2 feet wide, 3 feet high. I'm gonna make the 4 legs at 3 foot first. I'm using a DeWalt miter box. It's a compound miter box, and it's a DSW 779. The slide lets you go out, I believe, at least 12-inch thick wood, so you can do a lot of projects with that. And I'll have the link for it in the description. Alright, so I cut 4 legs at 3 feet. Those are done. And I also forgot to mention, if you want to do a nice straight line, use a square to score your line on each piece of wood. Next, we're going to do the sides. They're going to be 4 feet long. We're going to cut 4 of them, and we're going to do that out of deck boards. And those are 12 foot long, 5/4 by 6 inch deck boards. Okay, now the next step is going to be to cut the sides. Same deck board, but 2 feet long, 4 pieces. Let's get to it.
I won't let you go.
Okay, so now we got everything cut. We got 3 foot legs, 4 foot sides, 2 feet on the other side, or width. And now we're going to start screwing it together. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to line up the sides right on the top of the 3 foot legs, nice and even, so that later on when we cap the top, it will be nice and straight. So we're going to lay these 2 pieces here on the side, and I'm going to pre-drill so I don't crack the wood. And when you pre-drill, you basically just want to use a drill bit that's a little bit smaller than the thread, so that way you still have something to grip the threads with. So that's why I use 2 guns, okay? And you put 2 holes on center on each piece. Then you take your screw gun and you start putting your screws in. Make sure you're even. Send it in. Also make sure you're square. You don't want the leg tipping out, so you want to make sure you're straight this way also. Well, we're going to use a level on the next part. Or for this, you just want to make sure you're level with the wood. When we start to stand it up, we'll use a level. And make sure you charge your batteries.
It just died.
Okay, same thing on this side. Alright, so this is the side of it. We're going to make 2 exactly the same. Okay, so now we got the 2 sides done. Now we're going to go across the front. Now, when you do these, you either need somebody to help you hold it or maybe a C-clamp. I'm going to use clamps so you can see how it's done. Okay, so you want to make sure you have the heights all the same. Clamp it in pretty tight, and now I'll get the level and make sure the legs are straight. So you want to make sure the ball is right in between the 2 lines, right on center, and that means your leg is nice and straight and you're ready to screw it in. Okay, so now we'll drill 2 holes on each side and screw this first board in. Now I'm going to do the other side on the top as well, and then the 2 underneath ones on either side. Slide this out of here. Use the clamps again. Again, I'm doing this standing up for everyone to view. Otherwise, you can lay it down and lay the boards on it without clamps. Okay, so if you don't have clamps and you don't have someone to hold the extra piece of wood, like I just did before, you can lay it down as well. And I'm going to lay it down to screw on the bottom pieces just to show you that you can do it. Sort of the same way I did the sides on the ground. You would just lift the 2 sides up and put your boards down. Okay, so I got this side done, and now we're going to flip it for the other side. Drill and screw it together. If you notice, I'm taking the drill and I'm reversing it to come out of the wood because pressure treated wood is wet, and sometimes you'll try to pull out and the drill bit will get stuck in the wood if you don't reverse. So the frame is done, the rough frame. Now I'm going to put 2 pieces of wood across the base here so that I can lay some planks across to hold the dirt in. So I'm going to put 2 pieces, 1 on each end, and then 1 in the center. And we're going to just measure here, which should be 2 feet, which it is, 2 feet. We're going to cut one that's for the center, and the 2 outside ones are going to be inside the wood. Okay, so they're going to be about 20 3/4. So I want to clamp this piece of wood in the middle so I can do it while we're standing this up instead of laying it down again. So it's easier for everyone else to see. So it's for everyone else's benefit. So if you can screw in this side and tighten it up for me, everyone can see.
Oh, you need me to do it?
I need your help.
Okay. So screw it?
Yeah. Just tighten it up. That's good. You don't have to go too crazy.
Okay, don't go too crazy.
Put 2 screws in it. Now we can take the clamp off. Alright, now we're going to do the ones in between the leg, which I had said was 20 3/4. That's 1. For these 2 on the ends, I'm going to lay it down to show you the other way of doing it if you don't have a clamp. And for these pieces, you want to make sure you're even with the bottom because you don't want to see them sticking out from the sides when you look at it. So you want them even, like this one is, and this one will be. Okay, so since we're using 2 1/4 inch screws, which would not be long enough to go through 2x4, the deck board, and into the other 2x4, we're going to toe-nail these in, or toe screw them in, and we're going to drill at a slight angle, and then put the screws in. About a 45-degree angle. Okay, now we're going to flip it and do the same thing on the other side. We're going to put the base in here that's going to hold the dirt. So we're going to put some deck boards in here, and I maybe leave about 1 inch apart just to let water through. There also is an option of putting like a screen and some mesh so that it breathes and the water falls through as well. But I kind of like the dirt on top of the wood because that mesh sometimes starts to dip and bend down, and you can see it through, or the roots will grow through and you'll see them. So that's why I do that. Okay, so now I'm going to measure here, and we're going to lay down the deck boards in here and make the base. Okay, so we're looking at about 46 inches inside dimension. We'll cut a couple of those. I'll space them out. Probably need maybe 3 or 4 pieces. We'll see as we start cutting. And these just lay right in here, like so. And then you have the little vent. We're going to put plastic in here, and we pop holes to let the water through. And I'll show you that at the end. Okay, so while building this base, if you have any scrap pieces or shorter pieces, you can, because you have the center beam, you can cut it in 2. If you have shorter ones, which I happen to have some scrap, so I utilized 4 pieces of scrap, which totaled the 46 inches across. So 2 of them were halves down the center, and in order to get these into this side more, we're going to notch right here around the 2x4. So a 2x4 is 1.5 inches by 3.5. It's not actually 2x4. So you're going to go 1.5 inches in, 3.5 this way, and we'll notch it out by 1.5 inches.
Wow, they're lying
to you. So the lumberyards
all.
lie to everyone.
They're liars.
They're liars. So you're going to go 3.5 out, 1.5 inches in. I'll mark it and trim it out. Use your square. In order to make these notches, you want to use a jigsaw. This happens to be a DeWalt jigsaw, DW317. you lay everything in. Try to space them evenly so the water has a place to go through, and basically screw them down. You can put one screw on the end of each one, because it's just holding the dirt in. The bottom is screwed in, one screw on each end, and two in the middle, because I made pieces, which you don't have to do. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of picture frame the top to make it look really nice. We're gonna do 45-degree angles with about an inch overlap on both sides. Okay, so what you want to do is measure across here, which should be 4 feet. 4 feet. So you want to go 4 feet 2 inches. So we're gonna go 4 feet 2 inches, which is 50 inches, and we're gonna cut it off and then cut 45s on both sides. Now, if you don't have a saw like this, you can always square corner it. But I'm going to do it with the 45s.
I won't let you go. Paris, I won't let you go.
Okay, the 2 ends are done. And that's how the corners should look. And we're going to screw it down.
Paris, I won't let you go.
Well, you got a top rail. So the last step is to make these legs a little bit thicker. It's a big unit and it's got a lot of weight's going to go in it. So we want to double up the legs. So we're going to double up the 2x4s. And that's the last step. So we're looking at 24 1/2 inches. Final step on the legs. I cut the pieces 24 1/2 inches. And then we're just going to basically double them up like so. And screw them in. So this way you have a nice thick leg for it to hold all that weight. And then we'll put the plastic on the inside for the dirt. Alright, so we're all done with the raised garden. The only thing left to do is to line it, and I line it with a black plastic bag, and then I put little slits in it with a razor blade to let some of the water through. I mean, you could definitely use the black garden. It's like a cloth that people use in their gardens to stop grass from growing through. You can line it with that as well. But for the DIY person doing it at home, you got black plastic bags, it works just fine.
Paris, I won't let you go.
There you go. She's ready. Put some dirt in it, plant your plants, and enjoy. Okay, thank you so much for watching. That was our raised garden. Took about 2 hours. So if you like this video and you want to see some more DIY dad stuff, subscribe button down below and we'll show you some more stuff. See you next time. You know.
Okay, yeah. All right, go ahead.
Hey, that ain't gonna work, guys.
What?
Then plug it in. You know why Dad didn't plug it in?
Wait, you just pausing in the middle of a montage?
Oh shit.
You're bleeding.
Where?
Cut yourself? You can't see it.
I kind of sad. Where?
Look in the camera.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
Wow.
That's what happens when you're building things. You bleed a little.
We are not responsible for your injuries.
I'm not responsible. Injuries sustained during filming. I don't know how that happened. I didn't feel it. 23/4.
Saw that.
You did? Caught it. Oh, I could do it that way. I didn't know I could flip it up like that.
Go. That's gonna be the thumbnail.